the word as a term say the anxiety that some the kids feel when they're separated from their primary caregiver. And why do children have separation anxiety is because there is this attachment between the parent and the child, between the primary caregiver and the child. So that bond, that very deep connection makes the child feels anxious when his or her primary caregiver is away. So separation anxiety starts about 8 months old. If you have an 8-month-old, let me know. I think you're going to experience it really soon. And the peak is about, let me see the numbers. I wrote down 14 to 18 months. Okay, so when I look at the questions that you answer me, when you ask me, I can see that most of your kids are at about the age 8 months to about 18 months where they experience separation anxiety. And I will tell you why it starts at 8 months, right? It is developmental. There is a milestone that your kids go through at 8 months, and it is called object permanence. Now it sounds really complicated, but object permanence means that when your child sees the object being out of sight, he knows that it is still there, it is still permanent there. So let me give you an example. A child before 8 months or probably 6 months old, when you take away the toy from him, he won't go looking for the toy because he thinks that, out of sight, out of mind, the toy is not there, and it's just disappeared. But at 8 months old, children develop this concept called object permanence, which means that when they don't see mommy, they know that mommy is still there. They can't find their favorite toy in a cot, they know it is somewhere on the floor and they go searching for it. So that is called object permanence, and because of that, children have this anxiety when they lose something that they know that is still around. I want to share with you that so earlier on, I told you that separation anxiety is a good thing for your kid, and you must be like scratching your head, how can it be good? Well, do you know that separation anxiety actually helps children to regulate their emotions? So when they feel anxious, they feel stressed, and after which they manage to cope with their stress, they manage to conquer the anxiety by crying, by releasing their emotions, they are actually building the synapses to get them to learn to know that, okay, I have this emotion, but I can overcome it. So it is a coping mechanism by the body, which means that separation anxiety is an essential, for your child to experience different emotions, and it also helps with them regulating emotions and build resilience, as well as to get them to know how to overcome setbacks. Okay, so with that background set, I'm going to answer your questions about separation anxiety. And just like yesterday, I have put up the questions that were posted by the mummies during my webinar. So let's just begin. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, if you like the slides function, let me know, so we'll do it more often. Okay, so separation anxiety, I'm going to read this question out by the mummy. My 3-year-old boy has been increasingly clingy attached to us. He doesn't want to be left alone even for a minute. If I need to go to the washroom, he would throw a tantrum and he would not stop till I'm back with him. My husband suggested giving him short screen time when I need to do chores or nurse baby girl, but it's not working. He wants me to be next to him side by side all the time. I'm not sure it's because of the arrival of a new baby sister, but we have been very careful not to neglect him and shower him with attention too. I'm at a loss now because I need to manage 2 kids on my own most of the time during this COVID-19 circuit breaker period. So what should I do? Now, I put in this question because the mommy probably thinks that the boy is very attached to her, and that's why he has been acting up. But if you read on further, you realize that there is a new addition to the family. That's a new baby girl. So I wanted to first touch on the point that when there is a new addition to the family, you will have to expect your child to behave differently, because it is not easy for them at such a young age to accept that there is someone else in the house, and they feel worried. They don't know what's going to happen. They cannot reason that, okay, a sibling is here to play with them. They don't have the capacity to do that, and that's the reason why you see a lot more tantrums, you see a lot more power struggles, a lot more screaming. So this is very natural. It is all about coping. So your 3-year-old boy is coping with his big emotions through throwing a tantrum, right? And why does the boy want to be with the mommy all the time? And that is because he's afraid. he wants connection. He wants mommy to give him special time. He wants mommy to give him her focus. So it is really challenging for the mommy because she has to manage two. So she asked me, what should I do? I strongly encourage you to involve your older kid while caring for your younger one. So get him to maybe bring the diapers for her, or to read a book to her, or sing a song to her, to let him know that it is not that when the baby comes, he's being displaced. Okay, we don't want our child to feel that. Now, no matter what you tell him, that you still he's still your child, you still love him. It is better to show it through actions and through his love language. So you need to know what is his love language, know it well, so that you can give him that connection and that sense of belonging that he wants. Okay, then we go back to the part about the clinging and the attachment. That is because the child already has a bond with the mommy, like I mentioned in the early part of my sharing. So it is really normal for the boy to insist to not want to be left alone because he's scared. Okay, and 3-year-old, there are 1 million synapses going in their brain in 1 second. Is crazy. So we really need to be very compassionate about this. Okay, so let me answer the second question. Second question is about a 16-month-old, which is the time where children have a peak in separation anxiety, right? 14 to 18 months. So my 16-month-old throws a tantrum and becomes extremely clingy to me when his papa wants to carry him. This is despite papa being very involved in my boy's life. What can we do? Let me share a personal story. Daryl, he's 6 years old now, but when he was younger, he was exactly like what this mommy shared. He only wants me. So even though daddy has been like playing with him, but he doesn't want daddy, he just wants me. And at that time, I'll be feeling very frustrated because I don't have my personal time. I have no time to do my own stuff, and my husband is able to read his own books and have his own time, but I am the one struggling with the child. Why is it so unfair? And I think many mummies, especially first time moms, will agree with me. So why is this 16-month-old behaving this way? Because number one is developmental, that the child needs that the child feels anxious when the mommy is not around. Okay, it's developmental that they have separation anxiety. Number two, why is it that when the papa carries him, he doesn't want to be the papa? It is because of that very, very strong attachment that children have their mummies. I mean, they have been in our womb for 9 months, and when they come out, the first person they see is us. And when we feed them, we spend time with them, that connection is so precious and is so strong and deep. That is the reason why that 16-month-old is not able to comprehend that when papa takes him away means that mama is not around anymore. Okay, so there is a lot to be done for the 16-month-old. I recommend spending a lot of time playing or reading with your 16-month-old. And if you really need to start to delegate the job to the papa, do it slowly. Maybe you can do it let papa take over for 2 minutes first, and then 3 minutes, and so on. So you go like baby steps, you go slowly. But let's say, for example, you need to go off for work, or you need to cook, you really need papa to take over. Then when your 16-month cries and throw a tantrum, do not worry. Okay, you have to stay calm. The more agitated you are, the more frustrated your 16-month-old will be. So what you want to do is to be really calm and connect with him. Let him know that I am going to work, but I will come back. Now, like I said, your child may not really understand what you mean, but as long as you're calm, your body language tells him that, okay, mommy is going away, I'm still very upset, he's crying. This is a coping mechanism. Do not attempt to stop him from crying, because you want him to release and express his emotions. You don't want to repress what he feels. As I mentioned, it might lead to depression in the future. So we want to connect with him and let him know. And when papa has to take over, papa has to be the one to calm him down. And this process of him feeling anxious, stressed, frustrated, and finally releasing the feeling and calming down, it is the first few steps for him to learn to regulate his emotions in the future. So I would say be really, really calm about this and know that it's developmental. It will get better. So going back to my story where I said that Daryl doesn't want papa, right now he's very happy with papa, because they play soccer together, and then they watch TV together. And it is not going to be a permanent thing. So rest assured to the mummies who feel very frustrated. Okay, I'm going to go on to my third question. Here it is. Any questions, feel free to type it in. We'll try to answer at the back. Okay, at the end of this question. My 1-year-old girl is very sticky and keeps wanting to be carried. I am a stay-at-home mom. What should I do to help her be more independent so that I can earn some time for housework? Again, 1-year-old, which is 12 months old, right? So that is a time for them to feel clingy and worried that mommy is missing, because they already know the concept of object permanence. In this case, I want to share that it is not so easy for a child to be independent. It depends on their temperament. Some kids, well, they can be independent, they can play on their own for a long period of time, but some kids no, and it all depends on the individual child. So do not ever compare your kid to another child who can, play for a long time, because you don't know what the mommy did before that. There's a lot of prep work. If you want your child to be independent, you have to get her to feel safe, and the way to do it is to get her to stick to you at the beginning. So make sure that she knows that mommy is playing with her, mommy is connecting with her, and always play and connect with her before you go and do your housework. Don't attempt to let her know, okay, I'm going to do my housework, after that I'm going to play with you. Now, children cannot understand that. They operate from their logical, from the emotional brain. If they don't feel that sense of belonging and a connection with the mommy, and it is very difficult for them to allow the mommy to go and go off to work to do the housework. Okay, so there are a few actionable tips that I want to share here. I wrote down a few. Okay, so what I can do, because I am in the same situation previously when I didn't have a helper. So it was me and Daryl throughout. Like when I cook, he has to sit with me in the kitchen. After we eat, when I wash the dishes, he has to be in the kitchen. Or when I shower, he has to be next to me in the toilet. It's like, or when I'm using the toilet, he's just watching me. So what I do is that I keep them close, and it will help them and assure your child. So don't keep thinking that, I need to push them away. They need to be independent. They need to go and figure out how to be independent. But do you know that it's counterintuitive, but the way for them to be independent is firstly to make them feel safe with you, for you to spend a lot of time with them, let them feel dependent on you, then they can be independent in the future. We want to look at the big picture in the long run, and not just within this few months. So you want them to feel safe with you no matter what. Next time when they grow up, they know that home is still the safest place for them. Okay, so let me repeat. So play with them before the housework, keep her close while you do the housework, and I also spoke about the type of toys. So now I'm giving you a very detailed, specific things that you can do. Now, if you give your child a toy that's probably battery operated, and if it works like pressing a button and then the light, the bulb lights up, right? So these kind of toys, after a while, the kids will feel that it's really boring, because they already mastered the skill to do it, and it's boring. They'll just move on, and that's the time when they have to keep calling for you. So do not give them close-ended toys. What I always advocate will be open-ended toys like blocks, or shapers, where they can play and stack and play in different ways. So so the toys that you give matter as well. There are a lot of tips on trying to raise an independent learner, but with regards to this part, 1-year-old doing housework, I do hope that you breathe and keep an open mind. Know that your child is going to be young only once, and there's nothing wrong with her being sticky. It is extremely normal. Okay, so yes, these are all the 3 questions that I want to answer. So now I'm going to scroll back up to look at your questions. Alright, Oiling Play said, my eldest is 4-year-old. He had separation anxiety since young, and he had a hard time adjusting to school since 2-year-old until a few months ago. Yes, so even though separation anxiety peaks at 18 months, it kind of still appears once in a while up to 7 years old actually. Yeah, so it really depends on your child's temperament. So you got to be really firm, and remember that this separation anxiety is not a bad thing. It is just a phase that your child goes through, which means that it will stop. Okay, so I'm here to assure you that it will stop. Okay, what's next? Let me look at your question. I'm scrolling. Okay, Rachel says, I work from home and I struggle when I come out of my office in between time very regularly. My child reaches out to me, but I have to ignore or quickly go off. I feel so bad. What should I do about it? The reason why your child reaches out to you when you come out of the office because they see their favorite person, they see their mommy. So it's really very normal. So what you can do, either you don't step out of the room, you just sit and run until you are done. If not, you can give him a hug and assure him. And Rachel, I'm not sure how old your kids are, but really they need that connection and the assurance from you, the affirmation that you are still there. Okay. Rachel said, I realized after a while she has less attachment to me and more with my helper now. Now, children, when you have a helper, I think it's quite natural that the kid might want to play with the helper more at times. I've received a lot of questions about mommies feeling insecure because they think that the kid loves the helper more than her. But let me assure you, nobody can replace you. You are his mom, right? Nobody can take that place. So even if they are a little bit more attached now, just think of it as they are trying to fill up that emotional bucket. They are trying to feel loved, and since the helper is around, okay, they're gonna play, but it is not going to replace you. It will never replace you. Mamzi asked, my 5-year-old and I keep repeating the same work, but she refuses to hear me. I'm not very sure what is the exact example, Mamzi Ka. Yeah, so I guess if you have to keep repeating, it's not going, and she refuses to hear, then you don't have to repeat anymore. Get them to tell you instead. Okay. Cream asked, this question may be irrelevant. I have a helper taking care of my 5-month-old now. I'm starting to have the fear that the baby will grow closer to the helper over the months, dependent on the helper and not dependent on me. Yeah, this is exactly what I've been saying. There are many parents, especially moms, who feel very insecure. 5 months old, the child basically has no he will grow up, okay, and he will realize that I have a mommy, and the mommy is the person that I love the most. So really do not have to be worried about your helper being the primary caregiver, but your child going to the helper instead of you. Okay, so despite that, of course, you still want to spend time with your child whenever you can. Okay. Mandy asked, what's your take on babies and kids missing out on socializing during circuit breaker? I think my 15-month-old is starting to be clingy now as everyone is at home with him. Unlike before circuit breaker, he was able to play independently. 15-month-old, he might be clingy because there's a developmental, he's growing. At this age, there are a lot of changes in his brain, and I'm not sure about having anxiety when he's having separation anxiety. Okay, so now she says that everyone is at home with him, unlike before he played independently. So kids behave very differently, right? When there are more people around, or when they are, or when your routines are already set, and now there's a change in the routine, children will behave very differently. So I don't think they will miss out on socializing. Kids are very adaptable. When they go back to school, they're going to be back to normal again. So there is no need to worry about like them being distant from people. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And Mandy said he has a 6-year-old sister, so that'll be fine, so do not worry. Alright, so I hope I gave you some insights about separation anxiety, not to stress yourself too much. And these are what I go through during my life coaching. In fact, what I'm doing now is what I do exactly during live coaching for my From Yelling to Connecting course. And as if you have been following me, you will know that I'm going to close doors tomorrow. So if you do want me to help you with managing your challenges, I'm not going to be the only one, because there are like 300 over parents right now in the Facebook group, and they are all and the people that go through the same thing as you. We can form a community and we can help out one another. You don't have to be alone. All right, so I hope that I'll be able to journey with you. So you meet me at the starting line and I'll journey with you all the way. Ask me any questions you have and I will do my very best to answer you, to teach you and give you the skills that you need to help your child, not only to stop the behavior that you're observing, but to equip him with the skills that he needs as he grows up, the resilience, the independence, and the confidence, right? So are there any tips on readjusting back to school if they used to have separation anxiety? Yes, there are many tips, but I think I'll leave that for another day. Okay, you actually gave me a good idea. I'm going to talk about how to adjust back to school when school starts on 1st of June, 2nd of June. All right. Okay, So any other questions, feel free to let me know. But I just want to remind you, tomorrow is the last day. I'm going to close doors after that, and I really do hope that you come on in. Okay, Wendy asked, which Facebook group are you talking about? Okay, this Facebook group is only for people in the course. So for if you join the course, we will all come into a Facebook group, and in that Facebook group we will be sharing, I'll be sharing I would put up my Facebook Live coaching there. So every Thursday we'll have 1 hour. I will address all the questions, like exactly what I'm doing right now. And I will also refer back to the content that you are learning through the training videos. So as you keep hearing, you are coached, you hear how other people get coached, and you guys can relate to one another, and that will really help you. Number one, to be educated. Number two, when you're educated, you calm yourself down. When you observe the behavior in your kids, you will think about what we discuss, you will think about what other parents mention, and what you learn in the videos, and that's how you can stay calm. I also share with you many tips on staying calm, and that will really prevent it will help you from yelling at your kids. Okay, so is this course only applicable to Singaporean or those who visit Singapore? No, it's open to anywhere in the world. So I have students from the States, I've used students from Malaysia, I have students from I think Australia as well. So yeah, anyone who can understand English will be able to join. Okay, and have an internet connection, you'll be able to join. How to join? You can go to my website, ourlittleplaynest.com/from yelling to connecting, and that will give you more details on what I go through in every module, and that will give you clarity and confidence so that you are able to parent and stop yelling at kids. I have mummies who have took action, and they realize that, hey, it works. If you take action, you start to change the way you respond to your kids. It's going to make so much difference. And what I'm sharing with you, the reason why I have this course, and I'm so confident about it, because it is based on science, it's based on research. It is not based on what my parents told me or what other parents say. It's not anecdotal. It is based on research done by thousands, millions of children all around the world. So this, because I'm a very science person, I'm actually a physics major, and for me everything has to be logical. So that is the reason why I put together this course, where I combine what I learned during my teacher training. I've been teaching secondary school students for like 10 over years. So I marry what I learned about brain science, because we do brain-based learning, together with parenting, and that is how I come up with this course to help you guys know the facts, know what's happening in your child's brain before you approach them with your strategies, right? And of course, I will also teach you how to identify your child's temperaments. In fact, when you first join, you'll be receiving this pre-course reading on your child's temperaments, and that gives you a head start on why does your child behave in a certain way. Your child is not trying to manipulate you. They are not being mean. If you find that they are naughty, I really hope to change your perspectives, that they are not trying to manipulate you. They are just trying to communicate with you. Okay, there are no bad kids at all. Never. There are no such thing as a terrible twos, terrible threes. No, it is because of their brain changing. It is crazy, especially at 2 and 2 years old. It is the peak where a lot of connections are formed in their brain. Okay, if you just Google about it, synapse density, when is the peak period, they will tell you it's 2 years old, and that's the reason why there are so many changes to your child's brain, and that affects his behavior. So in my course, I always tell my kids, my students, to look past that behavior, because you want to be the educated adult, you want to be the informed parent to know exactly why your child is behaving in a certain way, and you have a plethora of strategies in your hands after you learn from the training videos, and you can apply them to your kids. But what if it doesn't work? You might ask me. Yeah, it may not work all the time, because your kids are growing, right? So every day they are changing, and which means that you need this continuous support from the Facebook group, from the members in the Facebook group, from me, and that will help you to change your strategies to help. Now, Eileen said that my daughter behaves worse now at 3.5-year-old than 2-year-old. Now, I don't feel that there's this like behaving worse or better, but of course, maybe more well behaved at 2-year-old, but at 3.5-year-old, her behavior is because of greater changes in her brain. Now, you cannot expect your 3.5-year-old to still think the same way as a 2-year-old. Your 3.5-year-old is growing. The 3.5-year-old is learning about rules, learning about relationship, learning about emotions. So that is the reason why these changes in their brain is causing them to put up these tricky behaviors. It is not their fault. This is part of growing up. Now, as we grow up, you might think, but my parents didn't go through courses like this, right? Why is it that I need to go through the course? Well, because right now we are more educated, we are there's a lot of research done over decades, and we are and this research is actually helpful for us it helps us how to teach our children for them to grow up to be the people that they want to be. So every step that you are taking now, it is literally shaping your child. And since you have this information, why don't you use it, right? In the past, people think that you have to spank your kids, if not they won't listen to you. Okay, wait, I think I need to remove this. Okay, so in the past, parents think that they need to spank their kids, if not they will not listen and obey you. But now research has shown that when you spank your kids, you are causing trauma to them, and when they grow up, they are going to become violent. And the reason why a lot of children or a lot of adults now who are violent, who cannot solve problems with their logical thinking brain, is because they grow up in an environment where their amygdala has to be heightened all the time. They are constantly being yelled, they are being punished, and that happens. The amygdala is the one with the physiological reactions to help the person to cope the fight, flight, or freeze mode. So the amygdala is naturally bigger than the prefrontal cortex. That is because of the way they were brought up, the environment they were brought up in. If you want your child to be brought up in that kind of environment, then you are going to expect that, if you spank your child, and then, so because I have this mommy who asked me, a few mummies asked me that, oh, my child starts to be very violent in school. The teacher said he had very physical to his friends. So when he come back, I got angry and I punished and I caned him. Why did the child start to be violent in the first place? Probably because he has seen how it is done at home. He is being punished, he is being caned, and he thinks that probably that's the way to solve problems. So yeah, it is. Okay, so Lulu asked, is it the 3 years old too late to shape? No, even at 7, 8, 9 years old, it is not too late to shape because of the way our brain works. Okay, because of neuroplasticity. Go and do a quick Google. It shows that our brain is moldable. It means that if your child has a certain connection being formed, it can still be altered if you repeat the new connection, if you change the way you approach your child's cries. Now, that is going to change the way his brain works. He's going to know that, okay, mommy is accepting me for who I am. Mommy is allowing me to express my feelings. I do not need to feel afraid of what I feel. I do not think that I'm always wrong. And that will slowly, change that brain connection. So, no, it's not too late. All right? So yes, I hope that I have shared with you what I'll be doing in my course, and this is really the time for you to take action. I know many parents say that, oh, it's okay, it's a phase, that they will pass, and things will get better. It might get better, but what is your child learning in the process? You are not making use of these moments to teach them about emotions, to teach them about how to solve problems. You will be, they will grow in an environment thinking that, oh yeah, it's okay for me to cry, to throw a tantrum and get the things I want. But that's not what we want. We allow them to cry, but we have to set very firm boundaries. Your kids will grow up thinking they get everything they want. So this is another thing that I teach my students as well. You have to be very, very firm with your boundaries. It doesn't mean that, oh, positive parenting, you are permissive. Positive parenting is not being permissive. Positive parenting is where you are very firm with your boundaries, but yet you are compassionate. You accept the way he feels, but you do not necessarily agree to his behavior. And that's where our role comes in. We are the educated parent, right? We are the ones who can tell them what can be done, what cannot be done. If your child is eating 10 bowls of ice cream, now does it mean that you're going to continue letting it because they want to eat? No. But do you tell them and say, no, you cannot eat ice cream anymore? You don't tell them directly, because that is going to cause them to be defiant. So what I will do with my kids, I will connect with them first in the event that they do eat 10 bowls of ice cream. I will say that you have eaten 10 bowls of ice cream and you really like eating ice cream. Yeah, and then I will set the boundary. But too much ice cream is bad for your body. And I will show them the facts. That is how I teach my students how to set boundaries. I give them the exact words to use so that their child do not feel like they are being targeted by the parents, but they feel that they can start to open up to parents because they feel more connected to the parents. So yes, these are all the little things that nobody teaches us when I was a first time mom. I really hope that I have this course to attend so that I won't have to go through so much trials and errors and cause so much stress to my son. So earlier on there was a question, is it too late? Now Daryl is 6 years old now and he is so much better with his emotions, okay? I don't attribute it to because he has grown up, but attribute it to my repeated teaching to guide him and coach him and give him alternatives to behave when he feels upset or angry. Now, if you don't teach your child what are the things that are acceptable, how can you expect him to know what to do? It is unrealistic and it is not fair to your kids, okay? Okay, I see a few more questions here, so let me answer it. Does everyone in the household have to do it to help shape the right behavior? Now, ideally, okay, it takes a village to raise a child. Ideally, everybody in the household can speak the same language. That will be great. That is why I have many husbands who watch the training videos with their wives. I even have daddies in my course as well, and I speak to them personally. And I realize that, you know, people think that daddies are always taking the back seat and not doing anything. But when I look at these daddies, right, I'm really amazed at how they are so involved with their kids' parents. In fact, this daddy, he told me that I will tell my my wife I have to attend class now, which is my training video. So and it really shows in the family, and he even teaches his in-laws and, you know, how to help the child. My other it was a friend, okay, she was my uni friend. She attended my course and she told me that her husband told her that wow, you know, you are really more patient now. It really makes a lot of difference. There's a huge mindset shift if you can take action, okay? Now, if you don't want to attend the course, it's also fine, okay? I'm not going to, like, you know, force you to attend. Go and read parenting books, go and learn from it. I have parents who tell me that they read lots of parenting books as well, but they do find that the examples that I give, the case studies that I use are very relevant in the daily lives, and they can identify with it. So it makes it clearer. They have more like confidence in approaching the question, approaching their kids, because they have seen us discuss it over our live coaching and discuss it in our Facebook group. Okay. Chocolateholic says, I feel it's not easy to share the parenting tips with the elders because the part of labeling emotions is not easy for them to do. My mother-in-law is able to make my child obey her. She is firm. However, when he cries, she stop him and say, cannot cry. Boys should not cry. You are 1 year old already, which, to be honest, irritates me. And I totally agree that it's not easy for the older generation to change because, well, we have to be fair to them. They have been brought up in a certain way for like decades. And, you know, it's really quite disrespectful, I feel, to like force them to change it. So if you are not comfortable with it, then you have to make changes to your lifestyle. Either you, I don't know, if you it's possible, you might want to, you know, reduce the number of interactions for the elderly to take care of your little ones. So it really is up to your comfort level, and yeah, you really cannot control them, but you can send them articles to read. You can slowly talk to them. It depends on the relationship you have your in-laws or your parents. Okay. Olsen asks, my daughter has been pinching since she was almost 2 and hasn't stopped completely, but also she's been biting. We do not believe in violence here. How do we make her stop? She's almost 4 now. There is a reason why your child has been pinching or biting. Okay, that is the behavior. You don't want to just focus on stopping the behavior, but you want to address the root cause. I don't really know much about your daughter, Olsen, but find out what has happened and get her to learn about feelings, read books about emotions. Okay. Phyllis say, wow. Okay, Alexis said, my 23 months old son used to sleep through the night, but for the last 4 months, he's constantly waking twice during the night. So at 22 years old, remember I mentioned this is the time where there's a peak in the brain connection. So there are a lot of developmental leaps, a lot of changes in the brain. So do be more compassionate. He's been waking up twice during the night, but this is a phase. It will pass, Alexis. I can assure you that, because we know the signs. Okay, we know at 24 months, at 2 years old, it is really a lot of changes going on in the brain. How can we train him back to sleep through the night? Alexis, we I'm not a sleep training expert, okay? So I cannot really tell you what to do to sleep train, but what I can tell you that this is expected of some children, and not to worry about it. It's going to be really tough, but this is the tough times that make us tough, right? Like parenting is tough all the time, but at every stage there are different challenges, and that is the reason why when you join the Facebook group, there are parents that are at every stage of parenting, so they can also chip in and let you know. And of course, during our live coaching, we'll be talking about children at a certain age, what's going to happen. And like for me, I have experience, my kids are older now. I can tell you 24 months old is expected, and it's a phase because my kids already grown out of the phase. Okay, maybe a last question. My 28-month-old loves to take our phones. Is it because we always use our phones for calls, photos, calls, and social media? Yes. I don't even need to think about it. Yes. Now, I'm guilty of it too. So do you realize that every time when our kids do something well, we're so proud of it, the first thing we do, we take out our phone and we video it. Now, we are not even looking them in the eye, we're looking at them through the phone, and your child is not looking, your child don't have eye contact with you, and it is actually quite sad. So I'm pretty sure that this generation of kids, if they have been very exposed to the digital devices, they're going to grow up really differently. They're going to have probably very short attention span because they want everything fast. There's no that delayed gratification. So I strongly encourage you to cut down usage of phone, let them to read a lot of books, and play toys that are screen free. Okay. So, Dilly, I still don't understand how to handle my 2-year-old from biting. So Dilly, you got to go find out why is she biting by like speaking to her about how she feels. So example, if she feels upset, right? So let her know that if she feels upset, she can, tell you, Mama, I feel sad, or point to a picture that's a sad feeling, because when you label that, you are actually calming the prefrontal cortex. You get him not to use the amygdala to react. And this biting behavior, it is a way for him, for her to cope with the anxiety she's experiencing inside. There is a reason behind it. It's maybe they want connection from you, or they want to feel or they feel worried about, I don't know, certain issues. So Dilly, maybe you can message me offline and give me more context so that I can help you. So Danny asked, what if they can't communicate that yet or refuse to talk about it? So I shared it in my webinar that you can show them pictures, or you can constantly read books about feelings. The more you read to them, the more they will understand. The more you use it, the repetition will strengthen the synapses in their brain, and they will be able to associate. When they feel upset, they think of the book, they think of the picture. And even it'd be great if you can make the book accessible, so every time when they're upset, they run to the book, create a feelings basket or something so that they can point to it. Now, that labeling may seem like insignificant to you, but really that is the first step for you to calm your kids down, to associate that feelings with a word, okay? And that will appeal to that logical brain, the logical brain that is used for reasoning and thinking. Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm really running late now. So, okay, maybe one last one, right? Very Lizzie. How do you manage a 28-month-old who throws her toys and stubborn on saying sorry? When I scold, she smiles. How do you go about with this behavior? Now, why did she throw her toys? There must be a reason why she wants to throw her toys. Again, find out why. Okay, could be she's angry and she doesn't know what else she can do. If you have a sibling, maybe she's angry or jealous as it's a sibling. So find out and teach your children other ways of coping with that. Right. All right. So I have to end here now. Regina asked me how to teach my 2-year-old from throwing things. Regina, drop me a direct message, okay? I'll take it out from there, because I don't want to do this for too long. I know many parents are like very busy. So yes, doors close tomorrow, and if I see you in my course, and I'm going to continue teaching you from Monday. We're going to start the class on Monday. There's no waiting. This extension circuit breaker period is the time for you to learn and practice what you learn. It's like previously, when the other parents learn, they are working and they don't get time to interact with their kids. But now is the time where you can exactly practice what you learn, and you're going to make so much of a difference, and you're going to change the way your family function. Okay, no more yelling, no more shouting. You're just going to enjoy every moment with your kids. All right. Okay, so have a really good night, and I do hope you join me in the course. Okay, and take good care, everyone. All right. Bye bye.